Hey guys, and welcome to Gwent, the Witcher card game. My name is Jaggerus, and today I have another beginner deck for you guys, and that is the beginner Skellige deck, the starter self-harm deck. And whilst I don't condone self-harm, in Gwent it works out quite nicely in our favour. So this deck is all about having your units slightly weakened so that you can then play the Clan and Crate Warcrier, which when you deploy will boost 3 damage units to its left by half of their power, rounding up. So you can use this to then double their strength, basically. So you remove a little bit of strength in order to double it. So we'll start by going through our golden cards. So we have Geralt. These are the starter golden cards. You should have all of these for free. He is a 10 strength golden card. And when you play him, Brave means if you're losing after you apply his 10 points. Then if that happens, then he will strengthen himself by 3 and become a 13. So if you're losing by more than 10 points and you play Geralt, Geralt will become a 13. Then we have Triss Marigold. Deploy damage a unit by 5, so you play her and you also deal 5 damage. And you can damage targets on your side of the board. If an opponent plays a problematic unit on your side of the board, then just be aware that you can remove that with Triss. Next up we have Ermion. Deploy, draw 2 cards, including golds, then discard 2 cards from your hand. So this is basically to try and find the cards that you need. You can draw 2 and discard 2. He works better in a Skellige discard strategy, but the Skellige discard strategy is a bit more expensive and it's not a great starting strategy. And as he's the free gold, that's why I've included him here. And then we have Royal Decree. Play a gold card from your deck, shuffle the others back. So this will target draw one of these 3 for us. And honestly, as you move on with golds, I would look to replace Royal Decree and then Ermion with in this deck. They don't necessarily work that well. Geralt Igni is a fantastic legendary card. It fits in any deck. If you're going to craft 1 card in the entire game, this is the card I think you should craft. Other cards that work nicely in this deck. Wild Boar of the Sea, turn start, strengthen the unit to your left by 1 and damage the unit to your right. This can be relatively useful. You can just put it on the far left and start buffing things, or you can use it to apply the damage before the Warcry, and provided the round doesn't go on too many more turns, you know, it's all Gucci. Drought is another kind of card that works in any deck. Apply Drought to all rows, turn start, damage the lowest unit on the row by 3. This is a weather effect. A very good one, actually. Anyway, these are our golden cards. Next we'll go on to our silvers. So silvers, we have Cleaver, free silver, toggle a unit's lock. Lock disables a card's ability. And it also reveals and disables ambushes. So, for example, if you play this on a card that has some sort of ability, you can stop it from happening. And if your opponent plays it on one of your cards that has an ability, you can basically turn it back on. This does only work on silvers and bronzes, though. Obviously, you can't lock gold cards. We have Holger Balakhand, another free one. Now, Veteran is an ability that some Skellige cards have. And what it means is that on rounds 2 and 3, these cards will gain 1 strength. So wherever they are, they will become stronger by the 2nd and 3rd round. So that's just something to be aware of with some Skellige cards. And when you play him, you damage a unit by 5, and if you destroy it, then you strengthen the highest unit in your graveyard by 3. So the strongest unit in your graveyard gets strengthened, which is nice because we have lots of resurrects, such as Sigdriffa, or Sigurd Driffer. Now, she's not a starter card. This is a crafted epic. But if you're going to craft 1 epic card, I recommend you craft Sigdriffer. And if you don't have her and you're getting started, you can run Dudu. He is a starter silver, but honestly, I think swapping him out for Sigurd Driffer, I'm just calling her Sigdriffer, is the right decision. Then we have the rest of our starter silvers. So we have Scorch, destroy the highest units. So if more than 1 unit has the same amount of strength and it's the highest, then it destroys both of them. This can destroy your units. Every time I have to point this out. This can destroy your own units, so just be a little bit aware of that. Don't think, oh, look, their opponent has a 7, I'll burn it up. And then you have a 9 and you burn your own 9. Admittedly, self-scorching is a rite of passage in Gwent, but I'm just going to forewarn you now, so then you can only blame yourself. Then we have Commander's Horn, which boosts 5 adjacent units by 4, so 5 units in a row get +4. Doesn't work on gold cards, just to be aware of that. Decoy allows you to replay an ally, so return an ally to your hand, strengthen it by 3, and then play it. And I think it's really nice in this deck because of some of our bronzes, such as Priestess of Freya. Deploy, resurrect a bronze unit from your graveyard. So this is kind of guaranteeing that we're going to have our units on the board because we can keep bringing them back with the Priestess of Freya, and we can decoy the Priestess of Freya to basically resurrect 2 units, for example. So that's what she does. Then we have the Clan Brokvar Archer. Veteran, so he gains strength every round. And when you play him, he damages 3 units by 1. And you might think, you know, why would I want to deal 1 damage to a unit? Well, you have this unit here, the Raging Berserker. And Raging Berserker has retaliation, so when he is damaged, he transforms into Raging Bear, which is an 11 strength unit. So each turn, he will in fact get that little bit stronger if you shoot him. And then once you have a Raging Bear on the board, you can shoot the Raging Bear with another archer or with Decoy, and then it's weakened, which allows you to then play the Clan and Crate Warcrier and double its strength. So just be a little bit aware of that. And last but not least, we have our Clan and Crate Warriors. So these, they have the veteran, they get stronger each turn, and when you play them, they damage themselves by 1. So these are self-harming units. But that's kind of good, because when they're damaged by 1, they're then set up for the Clan and Crate Warcrier to then be played and to boost them. And because you have Decoy in the deck, you can actually then decoy the Clan and Crate Warcrier and boost other units, for example. So lots of different uses for the Decoy in this deck, and lots of synergies within these cards. The last card we have here are the 2 First Lights, which I like to run in all of my beginner decks as a way of countering weather. Alternatively, for example, in my Monster Weather deck, I ran Archgriffin, which is a card which when you play it, it removes weather. But having some way of removing weather, I think, is quite important. And here you can see that when you play this, you spawn either Clear Skies or Rally. So Clear Skies will remove weather effects from your side, so you can use that to basically clear all weather effects. Rally, you will play a random bronze unit from your deck. So if there happens to be no weather, this card isn't completely useless. It will just pull a random bronze unit instead. Now, our leader is the Crack and Crate. And when you play him, so he spawns him, you play him, and he appears on the game board. But also, he will then also cause the highest loyal unit in your deck to be played, strengthened by 3, and then damaged by 1. So it's worth being aware that the highest unit in our deck, the highest bronze unit in our deck, the highest loyal unit, to be honest, it can play silvers, but in this case it would play a Clan and Crate Warrior, and if you've played all of those, it would play a Clan and Crate Warcrier, which are both useful cards, and if you played both of those, it would play a Raging Berserker. So just to be a little bit aware of our leader abilities. Anyway, guys, if you like this deck, do hit that thumbs up button. I'm going to jump into a game now and showcase this deck in action for you.
Close ranks! Uncrate!
Okay, so here we are, and we're up against the full test, which means we won't need our First Lights. So if you have a look for your First Lights, if you don't have them, then you don't need to mulligan them, but if we find one, then mulligan it. We have 2 Clan and Crate Warriors. We don't have any Warcriers, which is unfortunate, so I'm going to mulligan a Clan and Crate Warrior. I can always draw a Clan and Crate Warrior with my leader ability, so that's why it's okay to mulligan them there. Then we have Sigdrifer, and I'm actually going to mulligan one of my Priestesses of Freya because we also have Sigdrifer, because early on you don't really want to be resurrecting things. Unfortunately for us, we didn't find a Warcrier, which, you know, does happen sometimes. It's a little bit awkward, but not the end of the world. We can hopefully find it in the later rounds. As things currently are, what we could potentially do is we could play Royal Decree and draw Ermion and then mulligan some of these. But the risk there is that you then don't find them again, so that's just something to be aware of. But I think that's actually a good starting strategy. So we'll play out Ermion, we'll pop him in the back row. It doesn't really matter which row we pick at this stage. We got a Priestess of Freya and another one of these 8 strength dudes. So that's annoying, we didn't find it there either. I think because of how many resurrects we have, what we're going to do is we can mulligan a Clan and Crate Warrior. And actually the other Clan and Crate Warrior, because we can just resurrect them now. So putting them into our graveyard doesn't really matter because we can pull them back out.
Crush those vermin!
So that's just kind of something to be, you know, aware of. As it is, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play my Kraken Crate. That will pull the last Clan and Crate, I believe they're called. Yeah, the Clan and Crate Warrior from the deck. And so now that he's been pulled, what that means is that I'm not going to draw one, but I can always resurrect one if I need one. So we're in an okay position here. And we've got some points on the board. And now that he's starting to play units, we can look into the value of stuff like Geralt and Triss. So that's, you know, also useful, basically. Holger Blackhand will damage unit by 5, but we want him to kill the unit, so not useful to play yet. Cleaver, not useful here at all. I think what we'll go for is... we could go for 1 Priestess of Freya and the Decoy, and just get our Clan and Crate Warriors on the board.
Bow before
So for the time being, I think we're going to do that. We'll put him over here. We're just spacing them up either side of the... we're spacing them either side of the Kraken Crate so that then anything targeted, they've got a gold card in between, basically. So he has a Trebuchet. This is going to start hitting us every turn. And we don't really want that to happen, so let's just pop Cleaver down and lock that so that we don't get shot. There are, you know, other targets that are also good for locking, but Trebuchets are kind of annoying. Okay, so this is going to start buffing the card on the side every turn, unless we remove its armor. Unfortunately, we don't, I think, have an easy way to remove all the armor, although what we could do is play Triss. So I think what we'll do is we'll just pop Triss down, and we'll target this card like that. And there you go, now it's not going to be buffing him, basically, which is useful. So every kind of armor strategy that he's played out, we're just stopping. And I think that's quite good. What's he gonna play?
I told you so.
So I would suggest he pass here, but apparently he's,
Best give up now.
you know, keen, I guess. And we can actually play Holger Blackhand now.
Onward!
We'll kill this Redanian Knight Elect, and that's, you'll notice, strengthened the Clan and Crate Warrior in our graveyard, which means if we resurrect it, it's going to be a bit more useful. He's going to take the armor off of these guys and buff this guy, but again, he's still quite far behind, you know? We're on card parity, and he's quite a few points behind. So, we'll decoy our Priestess of Freya
Modern Freyr is patient.
and resurrect our
but
Clan
she
and Crate
brooks
Warrior.
no insult.
And we'll put that over here. It's just kind of spacing the cards out a little bit so the strengths aren't, you know, all concentrated in one spot. A Commander's Horn would be really nice here, but we didn't draw it, unfortunately. And honestly, we're quite far ahead. I really feel like he should pass. If he plays a low tempo play, we're definitely going to pass. So we're still 9 points ahead. We could play Geralt. I think we play Geralt. I think we bleed out his cards. Although we're only going to get 10 points from Geralt this round, because we've kind of committed quite a lot to this round. I don't want to give it up, basically. I don't want to let him have it. I want to force him to commit, because we can always resurrect a bunch of points later on. And you can see there he's played Skellige, but he didn't have a bronze special card to play, so he didn't get the draw from it. And now that we're 12 points ahead, I'm just going to pass. These cards I'm going to need for the future round. I don't have anything that I can resurrect. Well, other than Holger Blackhand, which I could have resurrected with the Archer. So maybe I should have done that, actually. Holger Blackhand wouldn't have been a bad resurrect, but what would it have buffed? It wouldn't have buffed anything because there's nothing in the graveyard. So we can always resurrect it on the next turn. And there they've played Commander's Horn, but they're still behind. And now you're getting card disadvantage. And this is a mistake that a lot of beginners make. You know, they really go for one round, which he's done here. And he could have won the round by playing Philippa, I think. Like, he didn't need to play Commander's Horn and Philippa. She does a lot of damage. So he played Commander's Horn, which was a waste, and then played Philippa, when he could have won the round with just one card. And now he's got 2 card disadvantage, which I'll hopefully show you guys here is going to cost him. Especially as we do have Resurrects in hand, so we can, you know, find cards that that are quite useful. Scorch, particularly useful. We'll get rid of our Kliss, guys. Sorry, our First Light. He's not going to play Weather. We're playing against Full Test, and even if he does, he's got so few cards we can play around it. So still no Warcrier. If you find like you're not really finding your Warcriers, you could swap a Priestess of Freya out, for example, and put another one in. But the way I see it, you only need to find one, and once you found one and played it, you can decoy it or you can resurrect it. So I like to run 2 because I feel like having, you know, more of other cards is quite useful. Are you gonna play something? You can do it.
Troops, here now!
So I think what we're gonna do here with Sigdrifa is actually we're gonna resurrect Holger.
What do you
So I could resurrect a really strong unit, but if I resurrect Holger Blackhand, then on the next turn I can resurrect one of these Clan and Crate Warriors, and they're going to be really strong. So we'll resurrect Holger. And in doing that, we can also... Oh, wait, no, he's got too much health. My bad. I misdid the maths. I actually messed that out completely. That was a misplay there. I forgot that this guy's going to gain armor. I forgot that I had to target something. As it is, it doesn't matter. He's buffed in. We'll just Scorch it and get rid of it. And try not to misplay your Holgers. So there I should have just resurrected some points. So he's got 10. We can win this by playing Commander's Horn, and then we still have the Clan Brockvar Archer and the Priestess of Freya, should we feel the need to play them. So let's just do that. So we'll take the round off him. And this is exactly what I meant by card disadvantage, because now, like, we still have 2 cards left, and he's going to draw 1 card, and his 1 card has to beat the 3 cards that we draw. So this is where I think that he messed up on the first round, and he overcommitted. Being at 1 card disadvantage is okay, but being at 2 card disadvantage is very tough if you don't have a card in your hand that's going to, you know, draw you cards or kind of help you out, basically. So we'll mulligan the First Light, and we got another Priestess of Freya, which is actually really nice because we've got some very powerful cards in our graveyard.
But she brooks no insult.
Like this guy. And you can see we're resurrecting like 2 12s. These just straight past. And we're not going to BM in by playing the other cards. We can just pass and take the victory. And that's it. So don't mess up your play with your Holger Blackhand and your Redanian Elites. But that just goes to show that even, you know, players who've played a long time, you're still going to make like mistakes like that. So long as you learn from them and learn from my mistakes there, that's what matters. We'll send a good game because always sending a good game is nice. Although I don't think I'm going to get one from him, unfortunately. Big hot dude ain't so hot, I guess. But yeah, that's beginner Skellige. And Skellige is a really fun faction. You can kind of play it in lots of different ways. There's like discard strategies so you can use, or these kind of harm strategies that you can use. Another fun strategy you could try out, you know, once you've kind of played around with this one a little bit, is instead of self-harm, it's harming your enemies. So you have these cards, for example, if I can find them in here. There's lots of different strategies, but you have these cards that have like 2 strength or something. I've gone past them now. Oh, I'm actually rubbish at this. But you have these cards that have like 2 strength, and every time you damage an opponent, then they gain 1 strength. I don't know why they're not showing up here. This is weird. Where are my units? They must be in here somewhere. There we go. Haha, there it is. The Clan Turisic Axeman. So veteran, strengthen self by 1. Boost self by 1 anytime an enemy is damaged. So between them and stuff like Clan Brockvar Archer and other kind of damaging effects like Lacerate, you can basically buff up the Axeman by dealing a lot of damage to your opponent. So it's like aggressive whilst also gaining you points. That's a fun strategy. Other strategies you can use. Queensguard. Deploy Resurrect or Queensguard from your graveyard. So you can discard 2 Queensguard, which you do with, there's a leader which discards cards. And then you can play 1 Queensguard, and that'll resurrect all 3. So there's resurrection strategies with Queensguards. There's also resurrection strategies with... Am I going to find this unit? Here he is, 6 strength, the Turisic Skirmisher. Strengthen self by 3 whenever it enters the graveyard. So you can basically kind of keep resurrecting these, and they get stronger and stronger each round. So that's another Skellige strategy you could use. But really, just kind of play around with it. There's lots of different kind of strategies, like I say, you can use. And I will have deck videos on more advanced strategies in the future, so keep an eye on the channel as well. But yeah, that's it. Beyond that, have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next one. And if you enjoyed this video, do hit that thumbs up button. Bye!